Hello, everyone. Welcome back on this Monday to another Let's Be Real episode. And today's guest is my girl, Kandi Green, live with us from Miami. For those who are already onto the live, yes, Kandi is definitely promoting the show, and I really appreciate it. How are you doing today, Kandi?
I am absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you for having me. And I
Absolutely.
want to say hello to all the Let's Be Real podcast followers and supporters. Thank you all for having me.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, you look so beautiful.
Thank
Live
you. You as
from the
well.
Miami. I am so under the weather, but I'm not going to bash myself like that. But I definitely love it. I love how you have your name logoed and printed in the back. That is the businesswoman boss. Let's get straight into it. So I definitely reached out to you because I do see that in the Miami area that you do have a natural beauty bar that
Yes.
is going on where you do microblading, which is self-care. So I
Yes.
definitely want to get into you to, just ask questions about how did you start the self care? How did you get into the business?
Oh, that's a good one. So, believe it or not, when I first started my start with serial entrepreneurship, I was 18 years old. I was young, enthusiastic. I just wanted money. I wanted, I focused on self care. So I wanted my hair and my nails and my this and my that. And with being a high school student or fresh out of high school at the time, there wasn't many jobs or opportunities for me to get the money that I desired. So I
Absolutely.
began to do small things, and I attended school at FIU. Um,
Okay.
and at FIU, I was known for throwing parties in the dorm room. It's funny because when I attended FIU, well, when I became known for throwing parties in the dorm room, I wasn't actually a student. My best
Okay.
friend at the time was a student there, and I would stay at her dorm. And while she was in school, I would throw parties. I would throw parties in her dorm room while she was in class, and I became known for throwing these dorm parties, even though I wasn't a student at FIU. So I
Oh,
eventually got accepted to FIU, but at that time I was already popular and already known for throwing these
the parties.
off the wall parties. Yes. So from there, I met my husband. We got married. We had kids, and I was a stay at home wife.
Okay.
And while being at home, you lose yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so while being home with your kids, you are no longer a priority.
Hmm.
When I first met him, he had a child. I adopted her at a very young age. So I was thrown into being a mother before biologically having my own.
Yep.
Um,
Parenting started.
so yeah, so I began to again lose myself. It wasn't about my hair anymore. It wasn't about my nails anymore. It was about the health and well-being of our family, the household, etc. So from there, I rebirthed my hustle. I began to do club promotions to generate an income for home because my husband, all he did was make money for bills
Okay.
to take care of the kids. So my want was not a necessity. So
Absolutely.
even though he did the best he could to sort of maintain my needs and my wants, he focused mostly on the things that the family needs. So what do?
Absolutely.
I do? Get back to promotions, and I began to be one of the first promoters, female promoters down south. I went to a conference one year, um, and the young lady, Coach Stormy Wellington, she was speaking, and she said, at the time, my husband and I owned a home in our community, and so I went to the conference, and she said, the beauty industry is the $11.7 trillion industry. And she
Hmm.
said, don't try to get 100% of that. How would you feel if you got 1% of $11.7 trillion? And with the mindset of getting 1%, I birthed a new business, Natural Beauty Bar. That was back in 2015.
And you still going because it's 2022. So congratulations to you on that
Thank you.
time frame. But
Thank
not even just that. That is the topic today. Everything big start off with something small. It starts off little.
you. It
And you
starts
just
small.
stated that right there. Like it started off with you just being a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife, whether if it was your child or not, to where you started giving birth to your own children, you birthed a business. And so I also believe that it also goes with the partner that you're with. A lot of people do not believe that, but if you have someone just as strong as you, just as willpower, engaging and encouraging, you both guys can, become more successful. However, it may end or it may keep going, but I'm glad that you was able to go to this conference and get something out of it. You
Absolutely.
gained to become and get, a businesswoman. Look how you label. Look at you. Your beauty is still there. So it's a good thing that you have this beauty bar. I need to come by. I'm not into the microblading. Look at my eyebrows. I am a
We
little
have
weak.
solutions for everything. We have customers as young as 9 years old. We have customers as old as 80 years old.
Oh,
So we have a
wow.
solution for every woman and man in need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm definitely going to put the Natural Beauty Bar page up here because you also do day spa as well. So
Yes.
what is it? What all do you offer here at the Natural Beauty Bar?
Oh, the services are endless. We do brow services, brow wax and tint, full face makeup, micro shading. We do one of the popular services, more expensive but very very popular, very effective, is lipo freezing, full sculpting. So we do a
Mm.
form of liposuction here. We also do mink eyelashes. We do facials, chemical peels, microdermabrasion, full body wax, teeth whitening. Oh boy! And
Oh
now
my God. I
we'll
see it
be
and the list goes on, but I'm
yes,
definitely loving it because, like you said, self care. Even the motto right here, slay Monday through Sunday, no days off. But how
absolutely.
do you slay when you are still under the weather? Like with child, you are just so nauseous. Like, what would you recommend? I
Listen,
am
I am
dying.
very big about speaking to your spirit. So for
Absolutely.
me, when you look good, you feel good, and when you
Absolutely.
feel good, you do good.
Hmm.
So you have to push through to get yourself up even when you're nauseous, because again, when you look good you feel good.
Yeah.
You'll be looking too good to want to throw up. So that's what you got to think about. Don't think about
Oh
the
my
first
God.
trimester. Don't think about the nauseousness. Don't think about any of that. Think
Oh my
about how you're
goodness.
going to feel when you're all dolled up. Every woman goes through it. Once we get our hair done and certain things done, we just feel like a new person.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you have to continue
So
to speak to your
j-
spirit. You'll be fine.
just getting into like, some of the photos of the microblading. Oh my gosh, I know this did not happen until like the eyebrows to where you say we've built our name on the back of the brows. What do you mean when you say that you built the name on the back of the brows?
So when I first opened Natural Beauty Bar back in 2015, um, brows were something that was not done down south. Typically you'll get them waxed at a nail spa with Vietnamese or Chinese women. It wasn't
Yes,
something that black women would do. We got them all waxed off. We got them waxed off
absolutely.
really really
And
thin
then drawn back on very thin.
and drawn back on very thin. Exactly. So with the beauty industry, I remember it so clearly. I'm very spiritual, so I was I came home one night from the banquet hall, very very tired, and I was laying in the bed, and I jumped up out my sleep, and I told my husband, I said, I got it. I'm gonna open a beauty bar. And he said, what the hell is a beauty bar? And I was like, you do stuff. And he was like, yeah, what kind of stuff? And at the time, I didn't know what services I would offer.
Okay.
And when I finally, came up with this plan and this idea, I slowly began to build on it because, like you said, you start small.
Hmm.
And we built the name Natural Beauty Bar because originally I only offered brow services. I did.
Okay.
I mean, we offered other services, but our expertise was brows.
Brows.
Um,
Hmm.
so we became known like Natural Beauty Bar is a go-to spot for brows.
Okay.
So whether you want them penciled in, whether you want them tinted in, whether you want them micro shaded in, micro bladed, you go to Natural Beauty Bar if you want brows.
So for anyone that is in the Florida area, where can they, stop by and get this service at for the Natural Beauty Bar?
Okay, so everyone is in fight mode that Natural Beauty Bar is only located in Homestead right now. So Natural Beauty Bar is only located in Homestead. We have a 3,000 square foot facility
Ooh.
off the South Dixie Highway, 27,000 South Dixie Highway, Naranja or Homestead, Florida. We are in South Miami, closer to I'm not gonna say the Keys, but we south. We definitely south. A lot of people, a lot of our customers, because we've been open so long, they have ventured out into the world and they've moved into and migrated into other spaces or places in Florida, Georgia, Texas, Houston, Tennessee. So they're always saying, Kandi, when are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? Unfortunately, right now, Natural Beauty Bar is only located in Homestead. And, I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but there is a future in other locations sooner than later.
Absolutely, because I need some service. I need you to pour something into me. Please do keep me on your prayer list. But most
Chicago is too
importantly,
cold.
huh?
It's too cold up there.
No, I'm in Houston right now. So when you was talking about Houston,
Oh,
I was
so if
like,
you're in Houston, now that's game. That
yes,
is
I am in
game.
Houston. That's
Yes.
the thing. See, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. But
Okay,
see, like
gotcha.
myself, I had to branch off. I love my hometown. Do not get me wrong. And majority of my guests is from the hometown. Like you always start from there because it's a lot of people that get overlooked. A lot of people don't feel like they're important enough because people do not know how to collab. They don't know how to network. They don't know how to be, the I or the CEO for themselves. So do not get me wrong. I'm from Chicago, but I am in Houston now pursuing my goals with the podcasting
Congratulations.
and my daughter's acting career. And then my other daughter, you talking about the youth. That's our legacy. You breaking the legacy, the generational curses when you give it back to your children. So I have one that launched a lip gloss line. And so
Oh,
that's
congratulations.
the least I can do, put on my lips tonight with some lip gloss. I'm like, okay, I can put on some lip gloss. And then when I got up here and I see you, I was like, oh my gosh, she is glamour still. There's there's no turn off for your slate. I have to get in tune with it. But like I stated, it is just there's no excuse. But I definitely would like, to just pamper myself. The day spa, the teeth whitening, everything that you have on here for service, I would definitely love to get into. Now,
Whenever you're in town, just come see me.
oh my gosh, do not worry. I will be taking a trip to you very soon because I really appreciate it. But not just also that, I do also see that you're doing big things as well. Like you have a conference going on tonight. And
It's actually I will be speaking tonight, but the conference is actually the 22nd and 23rd.
okay, well, see, you're doing speaking, so you're motivational speaker, you're giving back,
Yes.
whether if you feel like that's not giving back, but just being motivational, just sharing the resources, spreading along the information that you have. Some people can be so worry about who's going to get ahead of them. They don't share a lot. They don't
Right.
know how to network or not. And I believe that it's woman in power. We're always supposed to uplift each other. I can give you the information, but what you choose to do with it, that's on your own. But I did give it to you.
Right.
That's a start. So absolutely, we definitely going to get back into the beauty bar because the natural beauty bar a little bit later. But I definitely wanted to speak about this conference that you stated that you're going to speak onto. So how did you even get into this to where now you're not just doing the natural beauty bar, you are doing conference and you're getting out here, you're helping the youth and doing everything else?
Yes. So I was asked to be a keynote speaker at the upcoming conference in Yacht. So it's a 2-day event. Like you said, it's a conference. It's actually about leaving your legacy, breaking generational curses, and like you were saying before, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
And so I was blessed to be introduced to a young lady, Vanessa Presume, and she is very big on branding. She's very spiritual as well. Definitely a woman of God, and she's coordinating the event for some of her clients.
Okay.
And I got a phone call, and she said, "Kandi, I hate to be a bother, but I wanted to ask you, would you be willing to be a part of this event where it'll be about over 200 people?"
Hmm.
And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And she was like, I think you'll be perfect to speak at this conference. And She sent me the details, and it was all game from there. I'm very big on motivation. I'm very big on speaking positivity into people and dropping gems that no one ever gave me.
Yep.
So prior to me sitting in that conference room, being in that room with Coach Stormy changed my life.
Mm.
So if I'm in a room and I have an opportune time to possibly change someone else's life, I'm going to do just that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
So
what it's about.
yes, January 22nd, January 23rd, the I Am Legacy Conference. It's a 2-day conference. It's a networking event, dinner, and the next day she has a mega yacht. It is like 3 or 4 levels. It's humongous.
Oh my gosh,
And
big
so
things.
that
See,
will
that's what
be,
I like. I like
yes,
things like
that will
this.
be January 23rd. I've learned over the years that you have to put yourself in the room. You have to
Yes,
surround yourself with positive, like-minded people.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I Am Legacy Conference about. It's I am on the stage with a lot of other boss females and males, and I myself will be learning as well. So
Absolutely. It's always room to grow. Always. If you feel like you know everything, that's not the type of person I want to be around.
exactly,
I do not want to be around someone, a miss know it all, because oh my gosh, you can learn from me and I can learn from you. That's
exactly.
just the way it goes. And I definitely appreciate that. Like you spoken real. And that's why I had to have you on the Let's Be Real. Let me just tell you how I got to you. Because I know you probably like, how did she even find me? So TP Miller, Miami is definitely networking with me. You guys are definitely doing a great job. They're not, cocky. They're not bougie. They are willing to network. So TP Miller.
DP Miller, that's my boy.
Okay, Miller time. He is so funny with his skits. And so I was just looking and I was like, okay, you know what? I am tired of enough of Chicago people on my page. Let me see if I can get some more other people, that's throughout the 50 states, because that's what it's about. I want to do networking throughout the 50 states, not just in my hometown. But
Right.
if I've done interviews with people in New York, I'm looking to do some with some people in Colorado, but that's what it's about, because it's a lot of us out here, entrepreneurs that's throughout the 50 states that do need to get that recognition, or just put it out there, or just share the information that that we are doing amongst each other and through this everyday life living this pandemic.
Right.
So I seen you on his page, and he had you up there. I think it was like one of the Miller Time podcasts that you guys are doing. And I'm like, oh, let me just send her a friend request. I'm not afraid. I'm just gonna send her a friend request. And so when you finally accepted, I'm like, look, let me tell you what I want to do with you. He was like, reach out to my sister. And I'm like, okay, she's one of these, but that's fine. That lets me know that she's really working. Let me get to this assistant. And so forth, here we are. It took no time to get this podcast going, this interview, and I definitely appreciate it, because you have so many people that feel like they're big enough that they don't even have to respond, or they don't want to do it. It's not beneficial to them. But at the end of the day, like you said, you're spreading a gem. So if you could save someone else's life, if you could share, if you can motivate, that's what it's about. It doesn't matter what your network is or what you got going on. It's always sharing positivity to get out there. God say be fruitful. And I don't think just with children. You're supposed to be very few. I'm serious though. You're supposed to be very fruitful, whatever that you have. It's okay to share. So besides the I Am Legacy, I also seen something on your page that was very, eye-catching to me. You starting off something with babes and beauties, I believe, from the ages of 14 and 19. And that's when it really starts for young people. They are out here. Most of them feel like at the end of the day, they might do have talent, but they don't know how to share it. They don't know where to begin. They don't know what to do. And so I definitely wanted to ask you, why did you target such a young age group for the babes and the beauties?
So I have a program called Teen Boss. Teen
Okay.
Boss is for both male and female, and it's about just again tapping into the younger generation and helping them pull out what's in them, the inner entrepreneurial. Because we have a lot of talented teenagers and kids, and the problem is they're outshined by the negative ones. They're outshined by I'm not even going to say negative. I'm going to say the troubled generation. And they always say the bad outweighs the good.
Absolutely.
And we have a set of teenagers, especially in Miami, where the gang violence is elevated. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens is all of the kids are sort of bunched into one little category. Oh, them badass kids. You get what I'm saying? And
Yep.
um, they lose out. They lose
Mhm.
out. They're overlooked. They're neglected, and it doesn't make the situation better.
Not at all.
So
Yeah.
I myself have two teenage girls. I have a 17-year-old Alyssa, and I have a 13, soon to be 14-year-old Leah. And I do what I do for them. I do what I do
Absolutely.
for all four of my kids, but especially the teenagers because they
Teenagers.
see me working. But I don't want to take I don't want them to believe that mommy's working to give me what I want. No,
Absolutely.
mommy is working to give you an opportunity to give yourself what you
What you want. Yeah. Yep.
want. So from the teen boss, I had an event. It was about 20 kids that turned out. And well, actually it's not a non, it's for profit. Teen Boss was for profit. So the initial investment, believe it or not, was nearly $800.
Mm.
And that's a lot for a teenager.
Absolutely.
So for the parents to have invested that amount of money and have trusted me with creating an opportunity for their kids, that was something extremely special for me.
Absolutely.
Um, But what was even more special is after the event, the kids came to me and said, Miss Kandi, do we come back tomorrow? I said,
Uh,
"Hell no. This is one this was one and done."
but they enjoyed it. That mean they liked it. They was ready to they
Exactly.
was ready to just put it all out there. They like, look, I am you giving them attention. That's what they really need. They
Exactly. It was for me, it was an eye opener that told me we're not bad. We
yeah,
just bored.
yeah.
So when I had those one-on-ones with those kids and they pretty much had to curate their own business and sort of stand in front of the Shark Tank and pitch their ideas. And
Mhm.
some of the things that these kids up with in a matter of, I'll say, 8 to 10 hours was like, whoa. So, after being in the beauty industry for so long, I've ran into so many broken young ladies. I've ran into so many women that have worked for me, um, you know, 21, 22, 23, even younger than that. I've had 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds work for me fresh out of strip clubs, fresh
Oh,
out of prostitution, fresh
oh,
off of drugs. These are kids at 21 years old, and just because they turned 18, their mom or their parents or their family said, "Oh, you're an adult now, get it
yep.
on your own."
Mm-hmm.
And they were left, they were neglected. And
Wow.
that's when I realized we can't wait till they get to the age where
Mm,
you're an adult, but you don't have the tools you need to survive in this world.
yep. The
And
resources
I said
needed.
I have to target the younger generation and
Absolutely.
birth babes in beauty. Um,
Oh,
because I now want to be the Coach Stormy that says to a younger generation, don't get the 11.7 trillion, get 1% of that.
yeah, okay. And that's just real. And you heard it on Let's Be Real. I knew this was going to be a good thing to do, Candy. I knew it. But absolutely. So, what do you have for the young men that's coming in? Like, what um classes or what service do you offer to the young men? Because a lot of it looks like it's for a lot of the girls. Like the
Yeah.
eyebrow, the tin remover. What's for the gentlemen?
So for the services for the men, it's very hard to break into the market of men. Now, granted, I've done it. I still do it. We have men that come in. It's kind of awkward for them because I have a staff of 9 females. So with them servicing their clients, they may have 3 or 4 clients here a piece at one time. So if we have 15 women in here and one guy is coming in, it's how we
Looking
feel as women going inside of a barbershop.
barbershop. Absolutely. A
Right,
little
we walking into the
uncomfortable.
lion's den. Yes. Um, but for the gentlemen, we do have facial services, which again, for our ethnicity, is not seen as something that is needed. Self-care is needed no matter
Yes.
female, no matter
Male.
their sex, no matter their age, no matter their any of that stuff. You have to start now at a very young age to teach our kids to take care of themselves.
The
We are
hygiene.
they are
Oh,
going into relationships broken
yes.
mentally. emotionally.
Emotionally, okay.
They are
Speak it.
going into these relationships as teenagers, not
Yes.
knowing how to love themselves, not knowing how to care for themselves. So they go into these relationships prematurely, and
Yep.
they are allowing people to treat them less than they deserve. They're allowing
Yep.
people to love them less than what they
Self
deserve.
worth. Yep.
So when it comes to the services for the men, we do body waxing. Yes, what's wrong with men getting their
Manicure.
legs waxed, or their chest wax, or their back wax? We do facials for men. We treat their skin. That
Yeah.
is not just a rich rap service, a rich service for rappers or basketball players. We have services that are affordable even for teenagers, or even for the parents that are trying to balance themselves and they don't know how to add an extra bill for their kids.
Absolutely.
Stop telling yourselves that it is a want.
Hmm.
Self-care is not a want. That is a necessity.
Yeah.
That is what allows you to balance your mentality and your mindset.
Absolutely.
And the
Absolutely.
earlier you start, the more successful these kids will be, the more love they will be, the more well put together they will be. Again, you have to start young. So we have all of the services that we offer for women. We do liposuction on men. Absolutely. My
I
boyfriend was the first one to get in the chair. I was like, listen, come here, big boy. And he's not even big. He's not even big. I was like, let me put this suction cup on you and pull and tug and that type of thing. So we also do teeth whitening. Yes, AJ does the teeth whitening. So we do teeth whitening, and again, even at an early age, they can come in and they can start now.
That is amazing, and I don't see a lot of that, coming from my hometown. I
Right.
do see where they, start helping them doing the makeup classes, and to where they're starting to do like the tutorials, the 101s and things like that, but also for the men, because
Hmm.
it's a lot of men who are out here that are mentally and physically and emotionally broken because maybe they didn't have this care at home coming from a mom or a father. So you would see them with dirty fingernails, or you would see them don't have a care in the world, or to where they is slouches and they looking like me, like they're with child right now. They have all type of excuses in the world, and you just be like, wow, if you don't push for yourself, it starts with self. It
Absolutely.
definitely does. And so that just goes back to the children. Like you said, you're a mom for some teenagers. I myself started very early with my girls. I had one at 18 and one at 20. So my girls are like 2 years apart right now. And then I wait, a whole big gap to start all over again. But if this is what God wants for me, let me just do this. I'm
Right.
just go ahead and rat it out. But so my 11-year-old that's soon to be 12, she's been acting since she was 7. And it
Hmm.
was just something in me to say, hey, I don't want to live through my kids. Let me get something too for myself. But it doesn't matter if you're a young parent or old parent. It doesn't necessarily have to be taught to you. You yourself should have common sense to just be like, you know what? I don't want my children to go through what I've went through. And whether if it's good or bad, you should want to give something back to your children, put something different in their eyes. Me, myself, personally, I don't judge anyone or critique anyone, but I don't like the word my mini me, because then what do you mean she's my mini me? No, she's not a reciprocal. She's not everything like I am. She's more than what I am. She's going to
Right.
be above and more than me. So I don't use that word when it comes down to my ladies, my young girls, because I'm going to raise queens. So getting them into activities like this. Like one time I remember you put up there and you was like, you looking for a dance class or something. I'm like, well, show me what to go to. And you was like, no, I'm not looking for, I'm thinking you were saying you're starting a program, but you was actually looking for something to put your daughter into.
Yes.
And so things like that is also help them too. Give them some type of resources for themselves to get out there, to know how to get out here amongst other children, to see for themselves on their own. Like, okay, well, you can know who tends to have something at home, a parent that cares for them and a parent that doesn't. So I think that right now with the children going to school, that's a lot of peer pressure that they go through, because some kids come to school and they just signify on them. But if you have activities like babes and beauty going on, you don't have time to signify no one, because you should want to be able to help someone. Hey, come to the class with me. If you like eyebrow tint, or you like to put on lip gloss or teeth
Right.
whitening or something like that, it's motivation. It's encouraging. So I definitely appreciate you, reaching out to the youth, not even just in Miami, because now that we have other viewers and listeners across the 50 states and other podcast community, now I'm pretty sure that everybody else will try to look more into the youth, because they are the ones that's kind of lost right now, and they're coming up. They're listening to this music that make you think you have to be a stripper to get money.
Right.
You know, or you have to sleep with several men to be considered a bad bitch, or you know, that terminology. And it's kind of crazy, because I used to always say, oh, I'm not gonna wake up every day with makeup on and this and that and the third. But it's not just about waking up with makeup every day and the third. It's about, you know, slaying Monday through Sunday, like Kandi Green say, and that's what it's about. It's loving yourself. It's that self-love.
Right.
And I believe that young men should have it too. So whether if they're groomed, they're getting their haircuts, they brush them, they're, you know, pampering themselves with their hygiene, it starts there. Absolutely. And so I wanted to ask you, when it does come down to the beauty bar, like what the type of prices that, you know, it can range from to anywhere that just might be walking in who may feel like they don't have enough money.
Our prices for the male service, I mean, our prices are pretty decent. We're actually one of the most affordable spas. We have services as low as $25, then we have services as high as $1,000, but that's because liposculpting. But basic services, our average ticket is about $41.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, our average ticket is about $41. But for the young men who desire facials and stuff like that, we start them off at a basic regimen for a mini facial at $65, and then we sort of just build them up.
Oh my gosh. So I definitely want to get to a time frame with you, because that's what the topic is about. Everything small, everything big started off with something small. You told me how you started off small. So how big are you now?
How big am I? I am not big enough.
Oh my gosh, it looked like you big to me. I'd have seen you with a Range Rover and a little Porsche. I went looking. I even seen Granny now. Granny is something. Now, Granny is very, very funny. And she said, I don't want to upset you. Yes, Granny say, I don't want to piss you off because I don't want you to stop working. I was like, okay, now Kandi got it. Kandi is the money maker.
Granny is definitely something. But that's how small it started for me. I watched my grandmother hustle. My grandmother, I'm talking about, and she gonna kill me if she's tuned in. But I'm talking about from selling drugs.
Hey, Granny, look, I was a drug dealer too. I had to change my life. And I just want to say, for those who did call the cops on me and thought that they stopped some, you didn't stop none. You stopped me from doing that, but I still make my money. Look.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Like, I thank God for me having the mentality of not being judgmental.
Yep.
It's just it. I've had conversations with people, and I sit there and I look at them, or I listen to them, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, there's nothing no one goes through that is just so detrimental for me to look at you differently.
Yep. Prostitution,
drug dealer, homeless, a thief, a robber, like I'm not that judgmental. Now, granted, I may have my opinion about something, but I'm at a point, or I'm mature enough mentally to agree to disagree, and I'm mature enough mentally to say, okay, that's how you believe things go, and you know, which is adverse to how I feel about something.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to, you know, everything having a small beginning, again, with watching my grandmother hustle the way she did, you know, when I was growing up, my grandmother wasn't around much, believe it or not. And it wasn't because she chose not to be, it's because she had 6 kids, and then my aunt and my mom were the only 2 females with kids. Her only 2 daughters had kids. None of her boys had kids.
Okay.
So between the 2 daughters, it's 11 of us.
Ooh.
11 grandkids. So my grandmother provided for all of the grandkids. So we didn't see my grandmother often, but we did see her financially. Absolutely. You know, we knew that grandma was buying all the Christmas stuff. We knew that grandma was buying all school supplies. We knew grandma was buying all the Christmas gifts. We knew when grandma came around, she was going to dig at the bottom of her purse, shake her purse, all the change that fell in her hand. She was going to disperse it evenly. You get what I'm saying?
Grandma, real OG.
Right. we knew what grandma was bringing to the table, even though she physically wasn't in the room. So
Mhm.
when I began to get older, and I seen my grandmother work the way she did, and when she began to become legit, well, she always had a job, but
Mhm.
when she began to get older, and I saw that she couldn't financially keep up, um and I saw the hardships that she went through, I promised her that when I was old enough to take care of her, that I would.
And you did
um
that.
so once I I opened the banquet hall, I was living in a duplex that my husband owned, and we lived on one side, and my grandmother came into a financial situation where she then had to move, or God made it an opportune time for her to live on the other side of the duplex. So
Okay.
when I began to work every day at the banquet hall, I had two babies at the time, and then I had two more a year apart. Prince and Princess is only 14 months apart. So my grandmother watched the both of them because I had two babies in diapers. So she was literally in the same house as me. Nothing separated us but a little small
Door.
partition on the porch. So I told her once I was able to, I would take care of her. And I said that because it was that small seed that I planted in myself
Yep.
at the age of 13, because she blessed me with my first summer job at the age of
Okay.
13. And at the age of 13, I saved about 4 checks or 5 checks from my summer job, and I bought her a gold diamond necklace. I saved all of my checks, and I went to Cutler Ridge Mall and I bought her a gold diamond necklace, and I told her at that age that when I was old enough, I would take care of her.
And
I
not just that, I seen you buy Granny a car too.
Yeah,
I am
absolutely.
loving you. I'm loving it. Okay.
So I'm happy to say that once I moved out of the duplex, and I moved into a 5 bedroom house. My grandmother was at work, and I went into her side of the duplex, and I completely cleaned out her side of the duplex. And when she got home that day, I said, "Grandma, I told you I would take care of you, and this is the day, from this day forward, I will take care of you." We
Oh,
moved into a 5 bedroom house. I gave her the only room on the bottom floor, and that was 2016. So since 2016, my grandmother has resided with me, and I pay all of her bills, but I do not support her weed habit. I don't care what y'all say.
that
I'm not
is so
buying
funny
grandma.
because I was going to say you brought the comments like, and she better not light a joint up in here. And I was like, look, how you going to tell Granny what she can and cannot do? You
Right.
brought the car for her. Let her smoke it out. Grandma is in good health.
And
Oh
she
my
is gonna
God.
smoke it out. She
I just love the relationship. I definitely did. I had to do some research before I can get you up here. So I did have to go and digging and looking through a couple of photos, and and I just looked at the videos, and I was just seeing, like the time frame, like how you really came into the Kandi Green, the natural beauty bar. And
Yeah.
I definitely it was like amazing for me, and it was like, okay, you know what? I get chills just by looking at it. I know I'm up next. God got me and my 2 kids, and that's just the manifesting that I'm going
Absolutely.
because I love it and I feel it. And then it was like, you know what? When I seen you tell Granny, like, look, this year we coming in, no more cursing. She went nuts on you, but I just loved it. I enjoyed the energy. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I looked and I seen that you brought Granny a car. And then I'm looking at you and your children and your husband. And then you got this husband that's loving you too. He said, look, baby, I told her I'm gonna get her a Porsche, and that's what she got. And you deserve the finer things. And stuff like that does not motivate me, the finer things or the materialistic, but just that love, just the genuineness
Right.
there, just how you
Right.
growing in the business, just to know how you started off small and you turned out to be as big. So what if you feel you big or not, you big enough yet, you are big. And I'm loving it. You a
Thank
woman,
you.
a Black woman, you
Thank you.
stamping it, and you're doing everything you can for those children. You are a wife, you are a granddaughter. You're a daughter, and you are amazing at what you do. So whether if it's teeth whitening, microblading, liposuction, conference talking, Kandi Green is the real deal. It makes me want to get on a plane tonight and just be like, look, just exfoliate me. Look, put something into me. I need it all over, all
So
over.
let me tell you, when it came to the natural beauty bar, it was, believe it or not, the thing I love the most, I like birthing businesses. So
Okay.
attached to the Natural Beauty Bar, I have NBB Boutique. So I have a
Okay.
clothing boutique. I have Natural Curves, which is the garment line, or the post surgical garment line that me and my best friend have together. I
Okay.
have MBB Academy, so I will be opening a beauty school. Um,
Come on.
so it will be accredited. So it will be like a Beauty Schools of America. So it's not just the teenagers. If you want to get an esthetician license, a cosmetology license, a nail license, you will be able to go to MBB Beauty Academy and become certified and licensed through the state. So that's a process. Um, and then I have my own podcast as well about,
Yes.
motivation, and it's actually about creating the love and the life you desire. um and so I'm constantly birthing and expanding off of that one seed, and I can't stress enough, the small
Yep.
thing is that seed that you plant, because when
Yes.
you plant a seed, of course it'll birth, a
Many
tree
more
or
for you. Yep.
whatever, but the fruits that fall from it does not stop there.
Absolutely.
So I just want
Absolutely.
to tell your followers, it doesn't happen overnight.
Nope.
It takes a lot of effort. It's more than just the 9 to 5. It is a nonstop effort. I eat,
Yep.
sleep, and breathe Kandi Green, not Natural Beauty Bar, not Natural Curves, not MVB Academy, not my kids. I
Kandi
eat, sleep,
Green.
and breathe not Kandi Green, because if Kandi Green can't do it, none of this would exist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is amazing though, because what you said speaks so much value into it. Because what people don't realize, like, you out here, you shopping and you doing all this Louis and Prada. Like I tell them all the time, that is a last name. So, like you said, when you eat, breathe, and you sleep, everything of Kandi Green, that's who you are. That's your last name. So that's going to brand off to a lot of business, a lot of projects that you started. And it does not end, and it does not stop there, because it's hard work. Man, it takes so much time. Anything that comes easy, I always say, I don't want it if it comes real easy. I want something that I do have to sweat, that I
Right.
have to put, hard work into, that I have to just work so hard for. I don't want nothing to come to me that's super easy. So, listening to you, you shared that to my viewers and listeners out here tonight on this Monday. That was a very motivation Monday. You gave off positive energy. You share so many gems with us. But I definitely want to ask you, how do someone that does not live in Miami, how do they get in contact with you to do any type of business that they may want to do, that you are opening up, even the cosmetology school, or any other type of conference that you do have going on, just off with you, or do you just have to be a local for Miami? The
Google
floor.
me.
Boss move.
Google
Google
me.
me.
KandiGreen. No, seriously. You can Google me, but you can also kandigreen.com. I try to keep, stay up to date with all of the events, all of the upcoming events. Facebook, Kandi Green. There's my personal page, which you may see me, be me. Well, I'm always gonna be me. I'm always gonna be me. But you're
Absolutely.
gonna see my personal
Absolutely.
page, and you'll see a public figure page, which doesn't have as much of my grandmother on it. Um, you can go to Instagram _KANDIGREEN. You can also follow my YouTube, youtube.com/KANDIGREEN. Just type in Kandi Green
Absolutely.
and I pop up.
Absolutely. And I'm going to share with them, because you mentioned the podcast, and it is definitely called Sweet Talk. Let's
Yes,
share this. So
sweet
she do
talk.
have the Sweet Talk with Kandi Green live at 9 p.m. I don't know if it did start
It's
January 4th.
Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Last Tuesday was our first show. This Tuesday, which is tomorrow night, we will talk about reconditioning the mind.
Absolutely. And I do see where you did have the first episode, the new year, old you. And that
Yeah.
is a good way to start off, because, everybody come up with something every year. Oh, I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to stop doing that. Hey, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but every year it should be something positive. Look, I'm not even the same person I was yesterday. Okay.
Right.
I'm not.
Exactly.
I am not. I am going to keep going like that every day, and that's why I say sometimes you have to cut out when you are focusing. You're going somewhere. You got to cut a lot of things off. Sometimes you have to miss fun to stack funds, and that's just where it's going at. That's just my mentality. So like you said, you do have a best friend, but see, I myself, I'm working, I do everything alone. I don't have no go-to person, I don't have a cameraman, I don't have nothing.
I don't either.
I
All
am
my
a
assistants
one-on-one
always
person.
quit. All of my assistants quit. They say, Kandi, I can't do it. You got 50 million businesses. You got, and again, I'm very big on balance. I'm very big on, so 1 minute I'm Kandi Green, the girlfriend. 1 minute I'm Kandi Green, the mom. 1 minute I'm Kandi Green, the granddaughter. 1 minute I'm Kandi Green, the homegirl. 1 minute I'm Kandi Green, the boss. And then maybe I'm the boss at the beauty bar, boss at the, so it's
You wear
definitely
two
a
hats.
lot for any assistant.
But guess what? This was because it's for you. It's fit for you. See, a lot of people can look at your life and they can be like, "Oh, I can do it. It can be easy. It can do that." And then when they try it, they don't succeed at it because it's not fit
I'm
for them.
back looking for a personal assistant.
Okay,
For like the 50th time in the last 10 years, I'm back looking for a personal assistant. But
it's okay.
Like I said, I'm very spiritual, and I know God will send the right person in the right time.
Absolutely, because God ain't just gave you all in business for nothing, baby. You only got, look, you got 10 fingers.
Fact.
10 fingers, and you got, look, all them businesses filling up them fingers. You definitely gonna get that. Your daughters is in training. You'll get your assistant. Keep it going. It's gonna come to you. Granny sometimes, because what she say, your mama told me you need her to help you at the shop. Can you tell me what the hell she know about eyebrows and lashes? I say, you know what? I need to meet Granny. I need to do a podcast with Granny, because Granny.
So let me tell you what happened. And I know we have to go. We run out of time. But I didn't tell anyone. But my grandmother slipped and fell in the house recently, about a week ago. And she's so strong. Like, she didn't tell anyone that she was in pain. My kids were there when she fell, and they were hysterical because that's their superhero.
Mm-hmm.
So to see her down, it was like they called and they were screaming and crying and screaming and crying. And when I was at work. So when I got off the phone, it took me a minute, but I began to cry. And it really made me realize, and I'm getting emotional all over again. I've never experienced my grandmother being down. Mm. And I really had to take a moment and realize in a split second that anything could happen, whether it's to her, whether it's to me, anything could happen in a split second. And in that instant, I believe it's actually January 2nd. And in that instant, it made me realize how life is so short.
Yes. Oh, you're giving me chills.
Life is so short. So when I got home, I'm like, Grandma, are you okay? And yeah, I'm fine. And a few days later, she was still limping around the house. And I'm like, well, Grandma, I thought you said you were okay. And she had hurt her arm, her hip, and her foot. Her foot was completely swollen. It was completely black and blue. And she hadn't said anything. She's 75 years old, and she would sit in the garage, and she'd rather be in pain than be an inconvenience to anyone.
Oh, Grandma.
And when I finally threatened her, we made it to the urgent care. We got her all suited up, and she fractured her foot. So she's on she has a boot on, and she's not really big on taking all these different medications and all that other stuff. So I said, well, Grandma, do you need anything? Yeah. I said, well, what you need, Grandma? What she told me, a 7. I said, Grandma, what is a 7?
Grandma said she needs some weed.
I said, wait. I said, Grandma, what is a 7? She said, they don't put up GoFundMe's for 7s. Grandma, I know damn well ain't nobody raising no weed for you because you injured.
Oh my gosh. Why don't you put a camera on y'all? That is another business. That is a YouTube channel. That is something. That is another business.
You know why everyone have said that, but you know why I have not put a camera? My grandma will say some things that will hurt somebody's feelings if they don't know her. See, I understand there's opposition in everything that you do. And I'm very protective of my grandmother. And it's going to take one person to say something about my grandma that's going to get Kandi Green and turn her
out of character. Oh, well, we'll leave that alone because you definitely both. You got too much going on.
Little snippets.
Look,
If
yeah,
somebody say something about my grandma,
I'm gonna be
get a
ready to
girl from
fight
Granny.
with you. Yeah, don't talk about not leave Granny alone. Get her a 7. Yep, let's just go on ahead and keep it going, because you know what? She's an inspiration. I definitely love you. Your grandmother raised a beautiful young lady. You are very positive. You know, for your husband, you're a great wife. To your children, you are a great mother. I definitely appreciated you taking the time out just to come to Let's Be Real and just keep everything straight facts. It was amazing on this Monday speaking with you.
Thank you
I'm
so
definitely
much.
going to continue. Of course, I'm definitely going to continue to tune in with you. And don't think just because we networked on this show that you is not going to, this is the last time you're going to hear from Shay.
This is a
Look,
forever bond.
next time you see Shay going to be looking like you a little bit, okay? Shay going to go on and get her frontal on too and take the braids out.
As long as you ain't blowing up, we good.
Okay, that's
you
why
made it. You made it through the hour.
You should have seen me 15 minutes from the show. Girl, oh my gosh, if you could see me from the waist down, I only have on the blazer. I'm just keep it real. I'm like, look, I don't even care if she's not sitting here. We just gonna put on the blazer and the shirt. Let's just go. It doesn't matter. Keep it going. This is my business. I am a CEO of myself still, whether it's for Let's Be Real. I am a CEO of me. I'm Shaquan, you know, so that's how it goes. So at the end of the day, it's been real. Much blessings to you. I love you, my dear. Keep it going. Keep it going. Stay positive.
Shay, it was such a pleasure. I enjoyed this. This hour went past so quickly.
Because it's good vibes, good conversation. You know, nothing was dead over here.
I want to thank your supporters for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, you all can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all Kandi Green, KandiGreen, or subscribe on my website, kandigreen.com.
Absolutely. Until next time, beautiful. It's been real.